Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox on my channel, host Sega Forever here. Just wanted to do a quick video tonight with you guys. No wrecking crew, just doing an all-in chat. I got some stuff that I gotta do this weekend. I spent some time with my kids tonight, which I'm looking forward to. But I did want to drop a video because I haven't been able to do one all week. That's how busy I've been. But there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. If you're in the Xbox ecosystem, you're probably like me. You're probably having a really good time right now, especially when it comes to the gaming. And I'm not just talking about Game Pass. I'm talking about across the board. Naturally, we're going to take time out to talk about Game Pass. Got to give it, got to give this service its props because it's absolutely killing it right now. In fact, it's going a little bit overboard, if you ask me. Again, greatest struggle for me right now. More than money is time when it comes to gaming. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are in the same boat. We tend to talk about it a lot on this channel because it's true, and I'm not complaining. It's actually a good problem to have. Um, when Microsoft, Xbox, and Game Pass was compared to being the Netflix of gaming, as you can see by the last couple of months, it's nothing further from the truth. Because right now, Game Pass is running across the same problems that Netflix had when Netflix was in its prime, and it's still in its prime. Netflix has has been around for a while, man. They've gone a little bit more nuclear several years ago, man. But there was a point in time when I had Netflix, dude, that there was a constant stream of content that was worth watching. And though I enjoy Netflix as much as I do, and there's a lot of stuff for me to watch, I'm talking for more of the general populace. And it seems like right now Game Pass is beginning to enter into that realm when it comes to quality versus quantity, especially with a streaming service like Game Pass, which technically that's what it is. It's a subscription service. You can stream your games now. You can download the games, whatever you want to do, man. That's one of the things about Microsoft and their vision that I really do appreciate. And I appreciated it for years. Back when Phil took over and he was trying to change the actual business model of what they were doing with Xbox, listening to everybody, listen to the fan consumers, the critics. And I think they finally found that happy medium, and they're currently in their stride right now. Because at the end of the day, what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, that's one thing you cannot criticize. I mean, people try. I see people out there criticizing it. It was kind of cool of Phil Spencer to come out and say that Xbox and Game Pass or Game Pass for Xbox is not for everybody, right? And like I've always been saying on the channel, the reason why you can say that, and I think Phil gets it, is because not everybody's a gamer. And I'm not talking just hardcore. I'm just talking about gamer in general. Right? It takes a lot of time and energy. You got to put in the work, man, to be a gamer. You got to like it. If you're going into gaming and you only play a couple titles, you only play some mainstream stuff, dude. You don't get to the nitty gritty of what gaming is all about, dude. Then Game Pass is not for you, right? And I feel comfortable saying that because um, Phil can say that kind of stuff, dude. But at the end of the day, the value proposition for Game Pass ultimately shines through, right? Regardless if you play one or two games or not. These are the kind of things I talk about all the time on my channel when it comes to economy, right? It's unfortunate Game Pass is in an economy that it is now. But as you can see, man, I mean, look, at the end of the day, dude, Xbox sucks all the air out of the room. Let's listen to my last video. And it shows more now the last couple of months than any other time. Especially with the reveals that's coming out from the other two console makers, right? You have Switch coming from Nintendo, you have the PS what are they on 5 Pro, that iteration now. And you see what Sony and Nintendo are doing, and the big dog in the room is Microsoft. And of course that came into fruition when you saw what happened with Elder Scrolls that released earlier this week, which is amazing in and of itself. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, just give some time for the chat to jump in there if you guys want to come in, dude. I know it's Friday, all in chat. Um, Again, man, my schedule is all over the place, and I'll be honest with you guys, man. I'm gonna start hyper focusing on my gameplay, actually playing my games. I've been doing that. You guys know I've been playing Avowed. Avowed is a great game. Hey, what's up, T? T Reaper says Game Pass will grow in members as long as valid titles are put on there, which Xbox has done so far. They will keep growing. Yeah, T, exactly. I do think that Microsoft expected to be a lot farther along than what they are. But it's my understanding they hit 50 million Game Pass subscribers. And to me, when Microsoft says and Xbox highlights the 50 million Game Pass subscribers, I always think it's more. Like when they talk about the 50 million, they're probably talking about in my opinion, this is just my opinion. They're talking about like just a constant, right? So it probably fluctuates up and down, and then depending on how people spend their money, right? When it comes to being on subscription services, just like any other subscription services, like I do that too. right? I have Paramount right now just because I have Roku, right? So I connect my Roku account with my Paramount account, right? I don't have like a straight up Paramount account. It functions the same way. It's still fine. It's affordable. I don't mind. But the reason why I go Roku over Paramount is just because it's easier to cancel the subscription when I want to. So people dip in and out all the time. I'm the type of person, if I like the service, I'll just stick with it. Right? I've had Crunchyroll for years. I've had Netflix for years, and now I've had Game Pass since its inception. And I've never dropped the service on any of those at any point in time because they give me what I want. So to your point, that's 100% correct, T. I agree with you. I just think right now, dude, everybody's so hyper focused on money and economy, and they probably have other stuff. At the end of the day, dude, is gaming what you do? For a lot of guys like us, I know you do this too because you beat a lot of games and constantly playing. Right? Not everybody's like us, right? And I think that's probably one of the best things to have as Microsoft is backing Xbox now because they don't have to worry about that. Unlike the other other two companies that have to. Man, you guys saw what Nintendo did with the raising the prices of the games and stuff like that. It doesn't surprise me, right? It doesn't bother me because again, I tell you guys all the time on my channel, dude. I believe in the power of the consumer, dude, and I've always been like this my entire life. And it's just the way I grew up, the way I was raised. I could not afford a lot of the stuff that I wanted, right? Not needed, but wanted when I was younger. Even some of the stuff that I needed was hard to get. So that's my kind of my background. So when I see something that, I feel like okay, that's a little bit out of my league, and I just don't buy it. That's why I rock out with Xbox, dude. And plus the variety. I'm older gamer, guys. I'm a bit jaded. I need variety in my gaming, right? Like I don't need every game to be a AAA game. I just need a game that's gonna like pique my interest, get me excited, keep me engaged. Even if the game doesn't turn out to be as good as I thought it would be, right? It doesn't matter, right? I'm getting something new. I'm getting new experiences. I've played games my entire life. That's probably why I also like anime, guys, because I've been a comic book guy my whole life, and anime gives me a different buzz. You know what I'm saying? T says I already beat about I finally beat it. Last month I beat it, and then I'm through my second playthrough right now, T. And now that I played it a second time and I know what's going on and I realize what the game is all about, it's not your traditional RPG that I normally play, which I figured out in the first one, dude. But trying to figure it out on the fly, probably not the best. But during my second run through, man, I know where most of the stuff is, right? I know how the system works, right? I'm making the choices I want to make for my character I'm using right now, um, and it's working out way better. I'm just strictly using guns. I might switch over to some wands, do double wands and stuff like that. I'm a ranger right now. I love the ranger class actually, and the magician class. I'll probably go back and play it again with the magician. But then we have so many games to play. I might not be able to do that, or I might just slow walk it like I did with Starfield. Um, but the only other thing right now that I feel I feel bad for about because it's that type of game that you got to put time in. You have to, and a lot of people are not putting that time in. And the sad thing about it is that if you do put the time in, I think a lot of people might feel that's not worth it. Because I'm playing it right now and I'm finding there's a lot of things about the game that I like, especially, but I'm like a story driven character as well. Like I did something. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. Just give you guys a heads up. It's something I want to spoil about the game. I actually got an achievement for this that I didn't know it was possible. In my first playthrough of Avowed, I was in where all the animancers were, and then I went into this cave, and there was some Steel Garrote in there. Steel Garrote are like kind of the main bad guys of the game, and you have this option to take them on. Well, I chose not to do it at that point in time because I was a mage, and then I wanted to level up a little bit more and come back and take them on because I knew they were a little bit more powerful than where I was. And again, I was just learning the leveling system and stuff like that, breezing through the game. So what I ended up doing is I went and did other stuff. But as I progressed the story on the rest of the game, what ends up happening is that the major town fears them, whatever, I forget the name of the name, or I can't even pronounce it if I do. But there's this big city where the animancers live that you have to go to and do stuff there. And at the end of coming towards the end of the story arc, it's the second stage. And so the Steel Grove actually attack and then they actually destroy the city. So then what I ended up doing on the second time that I'm playing through, and now I have guns, and I'm leveled up a lot better, right? Because it took me a little bit to realize that it's not about what you do, it's about how you're leveling your kit and your weapons and stuff like that. And then you have to go and collect these stuff to upgrade your thing. It's like a very fine balance with this game. In fact, I think it's a little bit too fine. They should be a little bit forgiving. But look, that's their game. That's the way they wanted to make it. I think they would be better served if they made it more for a general audience, if they want to, if they want more people to play it. Just being honest. Um, but this time around, I went into that cave and I killed everybody, just because I was progressing differently, right? I wasn't just hopping around. I was actually going through the whole game because I went through it already, and spacing it out by sections, right? And just finishing it that way and leveling up as I went along because I knew where certain materials were, right? So I know if this one area has level 2 or level 3, I'd have to be a certain level myself. So I was just following that path, okay? And so what ended up happening, I ended up killing the steel Garou. And after I did that, I killed him in the cave. We come out, this other story arc starts off. Because you did that, they couldn't attack and destroy the town later on in the story. And then I got an achievement with that. And I got a diamond achievement, which means a lot of people actually went the original route that I went in my first playthrough. So the reason I bring up Evolve, besides the fact that T is talking about it, is a simple fact that this is not a game like it's in Game Pass, right? But I don't think this is a game that a lot of people will take the time to play and to understand and learn. And even if they do, they might not like it. I like the game. I already told you guys my hang up about the game when they do the woke stuff in there. Don't like it, right? Especially in this game because it seems so out of place. It seems a bit forced. And I think what it is, I think it was there was more to it than what it was, but I think they probably changed it because of everything that's happening with pop culture right now when it comes to woke stuff. I know a lot of you guys don't like talking about it. I'm just got to be honest, right? And it's not overbearing, dude, but it is kind of jarring in the sense of it's something I think they wanted to work in with the overall story, but they couldn't. And then they kept a couple stuff in there, just like as little breadcrumbs, and it just makes the whole thing awful, right? Because it's not natural, guys. Regardless of what type of ideology you have, if you're writing a story, dude, it's gotta flow and it's gotta make sense. And again, we're playing a fantasy type game. Do not try. You have to know not to break the illusion. This is why it's not good to do modern politics. And by modern politics, I mean I'm talking about naming people by name, making it so like that stuff that goes on, like the burning of that town, right? That's something that could happen in a fantasy setting, in historical context, and all of that, right? It doesn't break the disillusionment of what you're doing as you're playing the game. Is my point. But then people tend to do that, and that's not a good thing to do. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that game was delayed. But it doesn't rock the very core of the game. It's not the overall arching thing of that. I mean, will it give me pause for their next game? Most definitely, right? Because I don't like that kind of stuff, dude. That's me. If you guys are fine with it, that's fine. I see a lot of people have other problems with the game outside of that one thing. I do appreciate a lot of the art in there. I don't care for the character designs, but the world is beautiful, man. I love the battle. I love the combat in the game. I mean, it feels so second nature. It feels natural. The only thing I wish you would have had a little bit more options, a little bit more stuff. But again, you have to balance the game, right? So my critique, when I critique this game, especially when I'm talking to people, some people think I'm coming across as I don't like the game. I actually really like the game a lot. If I had to give it a score again, I'm still like I gave it like an 8 out of 10. I would say about 9 out of 10 right now, because the stuff that's really good about it, the stuff that I enjoy, especially the story stuff, right? Because I made different choices, right? So it's almost like I'm going down a different path with some of the characters. And the funny thing about it, dude, when I played the first time through with Avowed, I was a mage character, so I tried to take it all in, and that's what took me so long to beat it. But this time around, I'm playing a warden, and I wanted to use a character female, and I wanted her to be flippant, like with all my answers. Part of it was I just wanted to just kind of rip through it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to go through it as fast as possible. That's what I wanted to do, right? And so what for my character that I have and her personality, I was like, I'll just be flippant with my responses because I never tried that before, right? And it's interesting because you do get other paths from there. Some of the storyline it does arch back around to the main story, but the whole thing with saving the town, I did not expect that at all, and I thought that was pretty cool. T says I'm working on Elden Ring now. Yeah, I just downloaded T. I'm going to be playing Elder Scrolls, the one that they just shadow dropped on Tuesday, which was amazing to me. I mean, the rumors were out there, right? Of course, when it comes to Xbox and rumors, most of it tend to be negative, especially online, especially with the media, and most definitely with the influencers out there, right? All the pro PlayStation and pro Nintendo, and then just people, Xbox has become that whipping post for most people anyway. And, a lot of people are talking about it. People didn't believe it was going to happen. At the end of the day, I tell you guys on this channel, man, after Microsoft bought Activision King Blizzard or Bethesda, when they started doing moves like that, nothing's off the table, right, for me. when it comes to them. They could do whatever they want to at that point. So I downloaded Elder Scrolls. It's gonna take. It took me like forever to download that thing. Man, it took like almost a whole day. So I started in the afternoon. When I went to sleep, I woke up. It just finished downloading. So I have it on my console. I'm going to play it this weekend. And I'm glad because like how you're playing Elden Ring T, I want to try something a little bit different, right? Like again, Avowed, I love Avowed. It's a great game, right? But it's not that classic RPG feel. And so with Elder Scrolls, I want to get that. The funny thing is I didn't play this Elder Scrolls. This is the one Elder Scrolls I didn't play. I remember Morrowind on my 360. At first time, dude, it's pretty awesome. And then I didn't play. Then I think this new one came out, right? Well, anyway, the next one I played was Skyrim. After that, it was Skyrim. So this is going to be a new experience for me playing it. So I'm happy that they did the remaster. I don't have no problem with remasters and remakes, dude. At the end of the day, dude, because if it bothers you, don't buy it, right? And then if they feel like they're ripping you off, don't buy it. If you feel like what Sony's doing with their stuff, I blame that on their fans, to be honest with you, man, because they don't hold Sony to the fire like they should. In fact, they're more worried about Microsoft and Xbox than they are about their own console. So I don't have no sympathy for them. And we'll talk a little bit about their fan base now. Their fan base is they'll never change, guys. They're totally toxic. I'm enjoying the fact that Microsoft is starting to getting into their next level. As you can see, Microsoft Next Level, like they're totally gonna push the gaming industry forward, whether we like it or not. I told you guys, man, there's some stuff that I don't like that Microsoft is doing and Xbox, but that pales in comparison to the rest of the stuff they're doing. I mean, it's amazing how they're pulling the industry, kicking and screaming at the end of the day, but they're gonna follow. They have no choice. T says it was the best RPG I've played since Elder Scrolls. Wands are key in about. Yeah. Actually, I'm playing with I'm double pistol, and then I got a Arbus. And so what I did, which I learned from the magician, is I was upgrading my weaponry just to get to the level where I could handle the enemies. But I knew eventually, as I unlock more stuff, that I will get those those classic, well, not classic. What am I saying? Those special guns like the pistols and stuff like that. So I knew where they were, so I just worked around that. And then when I got them, because I like them because they come with attributes, right? And then you use the book and you can upgrade them and stuff like that. And then I just focused on using that. And that's the one thing about it. You can't do a lot of stuff that I would love to do with my Warner character because I want to use wands. I might use it towards the end because with the wands, but then I'll have to purchase it. So then you got to worry about having enough gold, right? And then I've been, instead of looking for stuff, I've been buying a lot of more stuff now, right? Because when I finished it the first time, I had over 150,000 coins. Right, and that tells me that I didn't buy properly in my first run through because I did struggle in the beginning. So this time in my second run through with this new character, I was making sure that if I had to buy Audra, if I had to buy whatever I had to buy, dude, I would buy it. Right, and then I did my searching in a pattern so that I always have the stuff so I could, if I chose to upgrade my gear, I could at any time I wanted to. But I was never going to be behind the 8 ball. That it took me a little bit to figure that out the first time I played through this because it's not your typical RPG, dude. But now that I've figured it out, I'm really enjoying it, dude. Especially since I understand the mechanics of it. Hey, what's up, my brother, man? Yeah, just doing a all-in chat, waiting for my son to come by, dude. Bro, we'll go out to have dinner. It was a pretty a crazy week, man. Thanks for dropping in, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, dude, let me know what you think, man. There's some big news that happened this week. It was crazy. Microsoft is just killing it, or Xbox is just killing it right now. Right. And then I made a comment earlier, guys, about because I'm also playing South of Midnight because that's the game. Remember, I told you guys that's the game I was looking forward to the most. The thing about South of Midnight is it's compulsion games, right? So my daughter loves We Happy Few. She absolutely loves that game, right? And so the thing about We Happy Few is that it's the atmosphere, dude. It's the story, it's the characters, right? It's the atmosphere and the music. It's an amalgamation of all this stuff that makes it an enjoyable game. And I did not play it. I played a little bit of it, but I actually watched my daughter play it because she enjoyed it so much. And then, of course, now that Compulsion is owned by Microsoft, and then it came out with South of Midnight, that's the game I was looking forward to the most from the jump. And I said that for like the last 2 years. Okay. And so as soon as the game came available. My daughter downloaded it, so I watched her play first. Right, but then she's been playing Marvel Rivals. She's playing Overwatch. Got that stadium thing going on. She's got a lot of stuff going on with her gaming. So then last weekend, after watching her play, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna get into it. And I absolutely love the game, dude. I think it's amazing. I love look, dude. I know the critiques that's out there about the game. It is what it is, dude. I don't see any of that stuff in the game. It seems like the game that they made is the game that they want to make. Now I'm not. I'm probably maybe halfway through. I'm right. I just defeated Two Toe Tom, this past weekend. Right. So that's where I'm at with the game. And then I started playing the game and I couldn't stop playing it. I was playing like almost a day straight. Because the story, man, the art design, dude. I like at first I thought the fighting mechanics was a little bit off. Right when I was playing, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't make sense." But then it makes sense once you start leveling up. Once you start going through the story and you start unlocking other things, right? It fits. Right, everything fits. Right, love the music, love the atmosphere, man. Everything about the game so far, I absolutely love it. It reminds me of the first time I played the Capcom game, the Goddess one. So when I looked at it, it looked so interesting. It looked like something I would enjoy. Like I figured already off the bat, this would be right up my alley. But then when you play it, and then it actually meets or exceeds your expectations, that's what I'm going through with South of Midnight. The only gripe I had about the game was when I fought Tuto Tom. I don't know what was going on, but my timing I felt off. Right? I know, look, dude, I know I'm getting old, so it could be me. Right? But there's sometimes because the pattern is not that complicated. It throws you a couple curveballs, right? But you can figure it out. I actually died on that, and I got kind of mad. I was like, dude, is it me? Is it the controller? Or something seems. It seems like when I was trying to like, there's this part where he comes down, right? Then he goes, he's gonna like put his head down, but he's gonna snap side to side and try and catch you in his jaws. So all you have to do is float, man. And I had a hard time getting there floating, man. It was nuts. I couldn't figure it out, dude. It's probably me, man. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was playing too long. But that's about the only time I had. But it was a cool battle scene, man. That whole build up was actually pretty cool. Right. And it's some messed up like and I knew this from We Happy Few, man, but to actually experience it and make it feel new in South of Midnight, there's some messed up stuff in the in the story. Not like gross or over the top kind of thing, but just some of the directions they went with some of the stories, I thought was pretty cool. Of course, I love the folklore. I love folklore kind of stuff, guys. I love grim fairy tales. I like that kind of stuff, and that's what it reminds me of. There's a lot of stuff. I told you guys I grew up in the South. There's a lot of stories in the South. They have their own type of storytelling. Just like in like where I live now in Hawaii, we have our own legends and stuff like that are interesting. People tell stories all the time, right? The oral tradition and stuff like that. Every culture has that. And shout out to the guys who it's compulsion games, man. I mean, We Happy Few and South of Midnight are probably the two most furthest from the that you would think these are if you play We Happy Few, you're like, oh, how can they make South of Midnight, right? Just the cultural barriers and stuff like that. But when you play it, you get it. It feels like a compulsion game, but it feels like its own game. It doesn't feel like We Happy Few. There's trappings of it, right? But it doesn't. It doesn't mess up the stew. I guess is the best way I can say it. It's definitely its own game. There's the trappings of what makes compulsion. But you can tell, dude, becoming a studio under Microsoft has really allowed them to make the story and make the game that they want to make. Again, I'm only halfway through. Not sure if I'm gonna like every single bit of it, but I'm enjoying the ride so far. Pretty sure I'm gonna give this thing top tier grade because I'm enjoying the game. It's exceeding my expectations, and so that's another game I've been busy playing. On top of Elder Scrolls, I'm gonna try and get to. Then I wanted to try and jump on Stadium for Overwatch because I was watching my daughter play. I might even start playing Marvel Rivals because Marvel Rivals looks actually pretty good. Not so much the gameplay, man. I hate to say that, but dude, if you're a comic book guy like me, if you're a Marvel fan like I am, dude, we starving for some good superhero content from Marvel. Marvel just absolutely blows right now. And I was gonna save this for the podcast. I'll touch on it a little bit right now, but I'll be honest with you, dude. I watched my daughter play Marvel Rivals, dude. Everything from the character designs to the skins that they have to even the stuff that they show the heroes doing, like the hero poses, and just little. You can tell they're fans of Marvel. You know what I'm saying? They're just not trying to put something together and make money off of it and stuff like that. Probably the thing I probably doesn't impress me the least. That impresses me the least is the actual gameplay, right? But maybe once I start playing it, I'll get into it. I don't know. I was thinking of giving it a run. I don't know if I have time because we have so much stuff that we got to play. T Reaper says you're gonna get excited about the 10-year title. Well, I don't know, man, because I didn't play it the first time. It was huge, man. But you got to remember, T. At that time, I was getting more into shooters, dude. I was playing COD because it was on a 360, right? I could be wrong. That's why I did not get into it back then. So it's gonna be like a breath of fresh air for me. I see a lot of people are liking the game though, from what I see. He says Oblivion came out on 360, my dude. Yeah, it did, right? Morrowind came out on Xbox One. Then it was Oblivion, right? And then it was Skyrim. Or was Skyrim first? I thought Skyrim was after Oblivion. You gotta let me know, bro. That was a long time ago. You know, I'm old, bro. I just celebrated my birthday too, so I'm even more old. Hey, what's up, Faded? What's up, brother? What's up, PlayStation with Person Speaks and Jay Barry are ending their podcast after episode 200. Seriously? Wow. Do you know why? Faded? Do you know why they're ending it? Yeah, I don't really keep up with those dudes. Only when people like how you're talking about it in the chat and when people drop stuff on Twitter or X as it's called now. I mean, it'd be funny if they kept the podcast going and had to actually talk about Xbox games, right? But I got something, dude. We're gonna shed some light on this, man, with the PlayStation guys. Again, man, guys like me, Hebot, Sega Man, you know, the crew. You know, we know that Sony guys don't buy their own games, so why would they buy Xbox games? Now, there's probably some general people up there that will pick up the games. I'm thinking, but at point of time, dude, why don't you just get an Xbox or play it on your PC? Because you know they all have PCs, right? To me, that would be smarter. Maybe that's why, you know, Phil Death by a Thousand Cuts. That's why he's doing it. But man, they're talking trash, bro. I saw something drop from Digital Foundry about the quality of the games. I don't, dude. I'm just like, I don't care at this point because we saw it coming, dude. We knew this was going to happen, right? So at this point in time, I'm just like, dude, it doesn't matter to me at this point. Faded Blaze says 5 Microsoft games are already on the top 10 of Sony most bought games. Really? Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected, brother. Which ones are they? Which ones are they, Faded? Let me know, man. I've been trying to keep up with it, but like I said, there's so much stuff going on, dude. I've been looking at like freaking people talking about energy signatures, how we got 0 point energy, how the government and the U.S. military is trying to hide our technology from us. I've been going down that rabbit hole, dude. And then I've been bouncing out only to play my games. Because at the end of the day, dude, there's really no sense in looking at deeply into everything that's going on with gaming. Dude, I'll go down a rabbit hole about government conspiracies and stuff like that. I'll pop back out, and gaming's still the same. Xbox sucks. PlayStation's the best. Nintendo, they overprice their stuff. Nobody's gonna buy the console. They do a live stream. Everybody's hating on it, and then when the stuff drops, people buy it out. You know, like my last video, man. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah, I can link you, man. Just to let you know, though, when my son comes, bro, I gotta bounce. I'll just end the podcast. That's why I'm not doing a wrecking crew tonight. Hold on, though, bro. I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram, bro. Okay. 1 second, guys. And we're gonna invite the world's most powerful gamer. I haven't heard from my brother in forever. Let him shoot a shot, man. Let him. Because like I said, guys, I've been following like Angels and Book of Enoch and Nephilim and Giants, and then I go to science fiction realm with, you know, like who built the pyramids, all that kind of stuff, guys. So I am all over the place. On top of keeping up with all the political stuff, you guys know that I talk about on the channel. I started doing that. Brother, I sent it to you on Instagram if you're still there. Sorry, just trying to get down the chat. But if you're still there, I'm on this main screen. I'm not jumping around. Just jump in and I'll add you. Fada says, I actually heard that news from Boom's podcast about what's up PlayStation ending. Oh, is that who said it? Yeah, I don't really listen to Booms. I'll be honest with you, Fada, bro. It's hard for me to. Thank you for the info, though. It's hard for me to listen to other Xbox people. And again, I've been going down different rabbit holes right now. In fact, I'll be doing other podcasts as well talking about that stuff, dude. But it's fascinating. The only problem, like again, if you guys like, I try and be consistent with the political stuff, but it's happening so fast, right? You had the Pope just passed away, right? Nobody saw that coming. That's another thing that everybody's talking about, right? What's going on with the Vatican? How's the new Pope going to be picked? Some civil war going on in the Catholic Church. Now, I'm not Catholic, guys, and I'm not over here to try and start a holy war. I'm a Protestant, but this stuff is actually happening in real time, man. What happens in Rome with the Vatican, dude? It carries weight, guys. However you might feel about the Catholic Church or Catholicism in general, dude, it's like I think they're either the biggest or the second biggest faith. I think they are the biggest actually, if you include all the other countries. Um, but I'm a Baptist born and raised, so yeah, no hate, dude. It's just again, there's the religious aspect of it. There's the spiritual aspect of it, but there's also the political stuff, man. It's crazy, dude. There's all kind of stuff going on. In fact, there's this book that I'm going to buy because I'm just interested in the politicking of everything that goes on beyond the walls of the Vatican that I find interesting. Yeah, but it's Faded. It'd be funny, man, because I mean, honestly, what would they talk about on the podcast? If all the games, like if Sony doesn't start producing games, I think they dropped the thing for what that Ghost of Tsushima. Is that the name of it? I don't know what it is. I saw some samurai thing, and I was like, oh, all right, and I saw that. I was like, all right, well, they're finally getting a game. And this thing doesn't drop till October, bro. So like Xbox pretty much has free reign on PlayStation all the way to October. Because I'm playing South of Midnight, dude. It would not surprise me if Phil Spencer put South of Midnight on PlayStation. Because it feels like a PlayStation type of game. Like when I say that, it's like that's the type of game that PlayStation people can play, right? It's story driven. It's got good art, right? Great music. It follows that stuff. It's not too complicated. If you amp the level up, of course it'll be harder. And I'm not saying it's not challenging, but it's something like I guess they could handle, right? And it's not too complicated. It doesn't. I don't think like if I really wanted to, I could probably beat it this weekend. I'm trying to just enjoy it, right? And I'm trying to take my time, and then I'll probably play it again just because I want to do better on the combat, right? Because I'm learning the combat right now. Not as young as I used to be, man. When I was playing Ninja Gaiden, bro, I mean, it felt like old suit, man. But I've dropped like 10 seconds on my timing, man. I could tell because I was out there stuff on Ninja Gaiden that I used to just rip through that game, and not anymore. I'm not that same gamer. But again, first world problems, right? And good problems to have. Faded Blaze said, Forza Horizon, Indiana Jones. I think he bought knows. What is that? So if I'm the top. Yeah. So here I'll share this real quick, man. While we're waiting for Hebot to drop in here, yeah, because Hebot can bring the knowledge. But kind of going to like the theme of the podcast today, because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Is that Microsoft just sucks all the air out of the room when it comes to gaming, good and bad. Doesn't matter what news is good, bad, good news, bad news, neutral. At the end of the day, Microsoft is always in their mouth. And again, that's why I say they are the industry leader by default. There is no other. Let me blow this up. Fede, I'm dropping a comment real quick. But right here, right? So this is the article that I saw. And I decided, and granted, guys, it's comicbook.com. Probably one of the worst places to get your gaming news. Even worse place to get your comic book news, I'm being honest with you. So, but I just saw that. I just wanted to share this with the group, right? Because this is something, again, we talk about on the channel. Let me jump in here real quick. PlayStation fans divided over new Xbox games on PS5. I don't get the hype at all. And so when they said that, I was like, oh, okay, so there's only been a couple games that went over, right? And of course, like every other article, this irritates me, right? They like go through this long diatribe. You just get to the point. Sometimes just get to the point. So last year, Xbox and Bethesda capped the year with the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So that's what they're starting to talk about, right? So then these guys are starting to critique it. Okay? And then they're sitting there telling, and so they're sitting over there talking about it, and they're commenting and stuff like that, giving their critiques of the game. I played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I have not beat the game. I admit it. I did not do that yet. Got distracted by other games. But another reason why is because I wanted to take my time. And that's what I was doing in the game. If you play the game and you're any type of gamer, dude, the game's amazing. The world that they built, the homage to the actual game, the way it sets the pacing for what you're gonna get in this game, it feels like, and this is what a lot of people are saying that are not Tony fanboys. It feels like the Indiana Jones movie we should have got as movie fans, and a lot of people are saying that. There was a lot of stuff that was coming out because of everything that's going on in gaming with the woke stuff, right? And the woke stuff's real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. It is what it is, man. They went down that woke road, and they have to suffer the consequences. That's just the reality of it, right? But at the end of the day, dude, if you're a gamer, dude, you gotta look at a game for what it is, right? And that's what I ended up doing, right? Because I'm a big Indiana Jones fan, dude. I don't want games to fail, right? I want games to succeed. I want to play my games. I want to enjoy, dude. This. I've been doing this my entire life. Now, had some of those rumors about Indiana Jones come true, would have been disappointed. But again, we've already got crappy movies that they've done for Indiana Jones. Right? This is why I only look at Indiana Jones 1, 2, and 3. Four. There was some cool stuff about 4, but overall, my go-to is always Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade. In fact, I enjoy playing the game so much. I went on Microsoft Store, bought a digital copy of the collection movies 1 through 3, Indiana Jones movies 1 through 3. The only thing that hit me later on was that the following week they had it on sale for $19.99. So had I waited a week, I would have paid $20 because I already own the collection physically, right? I already have that. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't mind you because I love Indiana Jones, dude. I grew up with Indiana Jones, and so like this is the thing that doesn't surprise me, right? Because you know this is what they're gonna do. And look, I told you guys 100 million times that Sony guys are not gamers. All they care about is they just care about their brand. All they care about is PlayStation, the brand of PlayStation, not necessarily the actual console and using their console or the actual games that go to the console, as you can tell by the numbers, right? At the end of the day, it's just about that Sony brand, dude, and making videos, dude. They make more videos than they do play the games. I was doing that, dude. That's why I'm like, dude, I gotta start playing my games, right? It's there's no sense in me doing videos and it's the same thing, right? Like I'm always. This is why I try doing different content on my channel to make it more interesting for me, right? We'll bring up stuff when it needs to be talked about. I have no problem doing that, right? But at the end of the day, it's always the same thing, right? Xbox sucks, PlayStation's better, Nintendo sucks. Just because we can't pick on Xbox right now, we'll pick on Nintendo. But PlayStation's always the best. And then you got a complicit media. This is why your gaming's stuck the way that it is. But thank goodness that Microsoft and Xbox is pushing through all of that, dude. And they're just like I said earlier, they're just gonna take everybody dragging it, kicking and screaming along with them. Because it's over, dude. I'm seeing what they're doing with their games. Like I said, with Overwatch, they just dropped Stadium. Regardless if people like it or not, that's not the point. It's just that they're just moving forward with it. They're doing a lot of different things, and that's with all their content, right? And again, dude, I honestly feel that Phil is not done buying studios, either creating or buying studios or doing both, right? Because if Game Pass, which it is their big ticket. That's what they're looking at right now, and I kind of like what Phil said about it's not for everybody, right? Because I get what he means by that. Translation. It's not for the average person that don't really affect the gaming industry only when something's popular. You know, like, and that's not a good thing, right? That's not what you want to build your industry. It's always good to have people, the casuals come in and participate, right? You get a good payday, do all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you want that consistency. You want that constant money stream, that money flow, and that's what Microsoft is doing through Xbox with Phil as the lead, right? Again, there's some. I told you, you guys know my qualms about it. Some of the problems I have with this stuff, right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, right? But overall, again, man, of the 2% of the stuff I don't like, the 98% they're killing. Like when I'm done with this podcast, dude, I can. If my son doesn't show up within the next 15 minutes, right? I could finish this podcast, shoot upstairs, and either jump into Avowed and clear Shatterscart because I'm almost done with that. Get into the final stage. I can jump into ESO, or not ESO. It's not ESO. It's Elder Scrolls. I can play that for the first time. Enjoy the remake and all its glory, right? Or I got 500 other media. I got bought a Kimbo bot. I got Pucky Squire. I saw it on my thing that I forgot. I kind of fell off of that. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's just that it's so easy to get distracted. I could jump back into COD. I think the new season started, or start back on Overwatch and figure out what Stadium's all about, and see if I need to buy those skins that are in the battle pass. I've been watching my daughter play, so I don't think I do. I do, but I know at the either the middle of the month, next month, was it April, May? I think mid-May they're gonna actually have a crossover with Gundam. So I'm definitely gonna buy that pack, right? So I'm gonna have to start getting back into the gameplay. But my point is that there's always these choices that we have that we as gamers, right? I'm just talking about as gamers, not just Xbox gamers, but as gamers, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on, dude. If you can't find anything in Game Pass, dude, there's games dropping every week with Xbox. Right? They have their ID Xbox program. There's a couple games I was eyeballing in there. Right? They got that serial cleaner game that dropped it. That's in Game Pass. On top of like I haven't even I think Claire Obscura Red King dropped today. And then I still didn't even touch Atomfall. Didn't even play the Sniper Elite, the newest download. Dude, I'm like way behind, right? That's how deep Game Pass goes. Again, man, 50 million is nothing to sneeze at. I really wish they're at 100 million. If they're at 100 million, or if they reach 100 million, dude, it is over. It is over, man. They will be able to wield the power over this industry, regardless of what the ponies or toxic fanboys say, regardless of what the influencers say, and regardless of what the media says, the gaming media. That's how potent Game Pass. That's the potential of Game Pass, and I'm looking forward to that day, because then we can put all this stuff behind us, man, and just worry about the gaming. Because all of these guys will be gone, like you said, Faded. This so these dudes might be out left. It doesn't surprise me, man. The PlayStation podcast, like, what do they talk about other than Xbox? And if Xbox continues to flip the script, they don't have anything to talk about. Just imagine, dude, their podcast, because they only have Xbox games on there to play, right? They might be doing that. So maybe that's why they're ending the podcast. I don't know. Honestly, it is what it is. Sorry, guys. Let me get this. But again, I might have missed T-Bot, dude. I wish you would have linked him. T-Bot, if you're there, bro, I linked it on Instagram if you want to come in. I know you got a lot to say, brother. Hold on. Where is it? Let me share this one real quick. And again, right here, guys. Cool. Let me shut this out. And right here, Oblivion or Clair Obscur. Which new Xbox Game Pass RPG should you play? Good question, right? Tough question, right? I'm going to be playing Oblivion. Number one, because I downloaded it first. For Clair Obscur, I'll probably download it today, but I'm going to have to find games to get off my. I'm going to have to find some games to kick off my hard drive. And I know cloud gaming is an option. It's a lot better than it is right now for me than it's ever been. But when you play certain games like this that are graphically intense and has, it's not gonna. I would rather play it off of my console. Right? But I mean, look, I'm not hating on cloud. They've gotten a whole lot better. When there's certain games that are there that I want to try out, and then it plays perfectly on there. Just a couple years ago, man, that was not an option for me. Saves me a lot of space on my hard drive. A lot of the times I'll jump in the game thinking, it just looks like a game I'll be interested in. And very few times, dude, I'll play the game and not buy it. Like, especially if the smaller games, right? Because that's something I can, come back around to. Right? Just like, again, I saw Plucky Squire. I'm like, you know what? By next weekend, I'm going to beat that game. I'm going to find time in the week to play the game. Awesome game, dude. Very creative. Again, it has a lot of stuff going with different different type of sequencing on the game. Good control, art design through the roof, just the creativity behind the game. And I'm just not talking about the storyboard motif, which is awesome, right? The way that they incorporate other types of games into that game, almost like a tribute type gameplay. And then on top of that, also utilizing not just the 2D flat surface with the beautiful animation, right? But then also going 3D as well. Dude, it's an amazing. I was playing that thinking, wow, this is the kind of game, again, like if we were back in the day, man, if they had something like that on the Genesis, Super Nintendo, dude, that would move consoles. That's how awesome it is. So did I answer that fate? Forza Horizon, Indiana Jones, I think you got this. Yeah, yeah, Forza Horizon, because I saw them talking about that. They're complaining about, not complaining, but the guys at Digital Foundry did a breakdown and they were saying that I guess the PS5 is better. For some reason, I don't know. Once they start, I see Digital Foundry, I just click. I don't even click on the article. I'll be honest with you. But it doesn't surprise me that they're talking in those terms, right? Because again, right, they're brand players. All they care about is the Sony brand. And again, Phil, I told you guys, man, it's not me hating on Xbox or I'm no longer an Xbox guy, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm not gonna waste my time defending this stuff anymore, man. This was to be expected when you took your stuff over there. I'm pretty sure, or I hope they didn't think the guys at Xbox. I hope they didn't think that people are gonna welcome them with open arms. You know, they'd be happy that the games are going over there. I'm pretty sure there's a few people that are happy about it, right? But console gaming, dude, is very tribal. And I know Microsoft's trying to flip the script. They probably can because they have the money and the resources to do it. Probably be a good day for all of us involved, man. But that's not how it is right now. And if that's what they want to do, man, more power to them, dude. It's their money. As long as they give me what I want, and they're giving me everything I want, and a bag of chips. So I have no problem with that. But again, not surprised that these guys are complaining about these games. They don't play games, dude. I'm just sorry. It's already hard enough on the Xbox side getting your people to play your games. That's the bigger concern to me when it comes to gaming, is that people actually not playing their games, or people actually not being gamers, right? Not like how we were before. Let's see. Let's see if I can show. But again, where did it go, guys? Sorry. Again, that's something. You remember in 2013, 2014, 2015, right? Xbox has no games, yada yada yada. Right? And then look how far we've come to have a title like this in a gaming, in on Cena talking about video game news, having this type of problem. When just a short couple years ago, right? It's Xbox sucks and Xbox has nothing for us to play, and it's gonna die. Well, they still say that too. They can't really talk about us not having anything to play, especially after the last couple months. Actually, the last 2 years, but especially the last couple months with all the stuff that they've been dropping. It's crazy. Again, not having the time to play all of them. Good problem to have, but still a problem. Let's see. Can I share this one? And here's another one, guys. Xbox Game Pass is a ridiculously good deal for RPG fans right now. Did I show this one already? But anyways, IGN. Even IGN has to acknowledge it every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? They just can't go on their crappy takes when it comes to Xbox. They will. They'll continue to do so, right? But we all know what time it is, right? Because you can't deny this right now. That remake of Elder Scrolls, dude, that put a lot of people, like the people that hate Xbox, that bent them really out of shape, and then the people that that aren't really the fans of Xbox, but they love the Elder Scrolls, they love Bethesda, right? They love these type of games. Dude, they're all excited, and it's good to have fans or people that are like that. Because when the Sony guys start acting up, they gotta deal with these guys. Guys like I normally don't follow, but they're out there, right? But even IGN has to bend the knee, man. I did that one already. We did this one. Oh, dude, that's pretty much it. I thought I had more stuff I wanted to share with you guys. Again, not an epically long podcast. It is an all in chat. I know it's a Friday night. It's the only time I'm going to have to do it. So I got stuff I want to do this weekend, guys. But let me know, man. I mean, what are you guys playing? Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. Hebot, sorry, bro. We got to connect. Again, this wasn't going to be long because I'm looking forward to spending some time with my kids, man. I haven't seen my son in forever because he's been busy with school. So is my daughter. They both have. So this is kind of my weekend that we're going to do something. So you always got to put family first, man. This stuff is, again, it's my lifestyle, dude, but it's a hobby at the end of the day. And a hobby that I've actually been enjoying. I'm not going to lie, guys. There's nothing better right now than Xbox. Sure, you might play other consoles, PC games, and stuff like that. They got what you like on there. That's fine, bro. It's your time, it's your money. You do what you want to do, man. But if you bring that over here, dude, you're gonna get crushed. I don't deal with that. Stay in your lane. And I'm 100% fine with that, bro. You think what you want to think. You do what you want to do. You buy what you want to buy. You play what you want to play. 100% fine with that, brother. But you come over here like some of these dudes try to, and think they're gonna, come in, walk in here, and think they're gonna talk all kind of trash about Xbox when we know, right? Because we play the games, dude. We have the services. We own multiple consoles. We own multiple controllers, right? I own physical copies. I own a ton of digital. About he bought though, dude. He had 3,000 games digital that I saw. I thought I was doing something with over. I think I have 1,200 games now, right? Because it is, right. I'm a gamer, dude. At the end of the day, dude, it's about buying games that I shouldn't be buying, but I can't help myself, dude, because that's what we do. I'm also a collector, dude. I do all this kind of stuff, dude. It's my lifestyle. That's why I say it's a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby. Right? Put it in perspective, right? There's things that are way more important that you gotta get done with your life throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year, throughout the months, whatever that may be. Put that stuff first, right? I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. But when it comes to my free time and the stuff I like to enjoy, where I like to put my entertainment is. So I have to say, man, some of this conspiracy stuff is giving the rest of my stuff a run for their money. But shout out to Microsoft, shout out to Xbox, man. Continue to put in that. Well, they put in that hard work, man. They've been doing it for years, and again, this is the fruits of their labor, and we get to enjoy it. And I'm enjoying it 100%, dude. I'm not letting the other stuff that they might do that I might not like ruin it for me because it can, dude. At the end of the day, however I feel about an announcement that's been made or the fake news that's out there when it comes to Xbox, all I have to do is turn on my Xbox and start playing my games, jump back into a Avowed, right? Find different ways to tag team with my companions, man, so I can get the utmost experience points so I can continue to level up my character. One of the cool things I like about the Warden character I'm playing right now is I leveled up, so I'm in this one part of my skill tree where you can activate a bear, which I think is cool. And then there's like other slots that you can upgrade the bear, and one of them is basically it turns a bear into a tank. So when you summon it, I have to put a point in there to get it. So I'm working hard to get to level up. So I want that point so I can stick it in there. So every time you summon the bear also roars, and then it basically turns into a tank and draws all the enemies towards you, which can help you, man. Because again, I'm a I'm a ranger at the end of the day, a warden slash ranger. And so what I'm doing, man, I'm just using guns. And so I try to keep myself at distance. You can be up close and stuff like that, dude, but I want to get some really good headshots and stuff like that. So I don't want to be too up close and personal. And I got double pistols, that helps. I've also geared out my character with. I'm actually using the trinkets that you find throughout the game. I mean, some of them are super cool. Most of them, they're cool and stuff like that, dude. I'm just working on with them right now, but I think I got it down like to the point like when I do certain things in the game, because since I know how it works now, like I'll stop the game and then I'll switch stuff on and off. And that can be that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier, guys. At the end of the day, that could be off-putting to people, right? Because it does kind of interrupt the flow a little bit, but it's the overall game, right? And it's just how they decided to make the game. That's why I say it's not saying it's bad. Would I prefer it to be a little bit more quicker? Yeah, a little bit. Does it take me out a little bit sometimes? Right? And then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go through that trouble, and I just run through a thing, man. But then thankfully I played it through the first time, so I know where the most important parts are. So like if I go to one area where I know that I'm gonna have dialogue, there's this because I'm a because I'm a warden slash ranger, I unlock the skill for cooking. And so, because I'm leveled to level 3, I can actually make potions that are different, that are rare. And so, one of the ones that I make, dude, if I drink it, it gives me +6 on everything, on all of my abilities perception, intelligence. So, when I'm talking to people and you need, the stick pops up and it tells you, level 3 of 5, but I'm always above. So, and it opens other paths, dude, and you have other different conversations if you're willing to do that. And I have been. At first, I was just ripping through, kind of being flippant, like I said. But it was as other storylines have opened, that's what kind of slowed down my gameplay because I would have been done with it by now. But yeah, dude, it's so as like I'm talking about right? That's a lot. Like Unlimited talks about this all the time. Instead of talking about it and talking about the drama and stuff like that, you just play your games and then you enjoy it. And I prefer to talk about playing games because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? And the gameplay is solid, right? So I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, you guys will give it a chance if you have Game Pass. Definitely worth trying. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's worth trying, dude. And that's what every game in Game Pass. That's the thing that gets me the most. Like people that hate on Game Pass, like it's games, and you can play any game that you want to. They have so many games, so much variety. These games, I see the media sometimes, right, and then the haters out there. Every month that Xbox is going to lose games, and they always want to bring that up. So for some aspect, I think it's important because there's so many games in Game Pass that you might have forgotten about a game, so it's good to be reminded. And so Xbox will do that, like, but that's the primary purpose of letting you know. So hey, if you haven't tried the game, you might want to try it because it's going to leave next month. Right? But I'm talking about when people weaponize that, right? And we know that's all BS, man, because these games, I've never known a game to not last a year in Game Pass. Right? And again, if it's a game I really like, I'll just end up forking over the money to buy it. And we still get a discount on the game because it's in Game Pass. Sometimes I'll catch myself, man, because I'm like, look, dude, I got to work through my library. You know, it's not getting any easier. But then Microsoft has sales all the time on top of that. Majority of my games, I usually buy full price. But when you see a deal, you see a deal. Sometimes I see a deal and I forget that the game's in. Or sometimes they do the deal before the game drops out, right? And the way that Microsoft does this, man, you shouldn't, dude, you're paying every month for this service, right? Whether that's sustainable or not, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's sustainable. If it wasn't, Microsoft would have pulled the plug on it already, right? But at the end of the day, don't feel bad, man. You're again, yes, I hear people say it still. They're doing it with Elder Scrolls, you know, it's free, right? And I'm saying, no, it's not free, bro. You're paying a monthly subscription. And again, if you just take that monthly subscription, depending on what level you are, and you multiply by 12 months, right? That's how much you're paying. It just doesn't hurt as bad because you're paying it in small increments, right? And I only tell you that not to say that they're greedy or that it's a bad deal. It's an absolutely amazing deal. I tell you guys that because I see some people feel guilty. And then people try and lay guilt trip on you, right? Like, oh, you're cheap, you're not supporting the developers. Microsoft's already supporting them. You're supporting Microsoft and the developers by participating in the ecosystem. And on top of that, if you bought the game like I do, right? Like I just bought Somerville. I thought I bought it already. I did not. So yeah, that's another problem I have. And I'm not young anymore, so I tend to forget what games I have and what games I don't. But I could have swore I bought the game. But I remember I was on the fence about it because I got stuck at this one part and I had to replay the game again. And that kind of irritated me. You know, and it was during that time. There's like a run of games that was on Game Pass. I did that with the, the one with the killy, the shooting one with the stabby knife, and that guy's really funny. The nice funny talks to you. I forgot the name of that game, but that happened to me twice, man. So I was in the game, and then the second time, was it two times? No, maybe it's just one time. Anyway, sorry. There's this one time I was in this one part and I got stuck, dude. And I was like halfway into the game already, and then I would have to restart it because there's no place, there was no way for me to get back out, restart the game, and then get back to that area. It was broken, and that sucked, dude. It really sucked. I'm like, dude. So that killed the momentum for me on that game because there was other stuff dropping, and I never went back. But I think I might have bought it just to support the developers. But great game. Everything was good about that game until that point in time. And then I remember I was talking about it in a video where I saw a couple of the games like that in Game Pass, and I was kind of like, man, sir, you guys got to get with you guys got to get down with the quality control. You know what I'm saying? Because that matters as well. Sure, I mean, I know they're doing everything. Microsoft has created this awesome service in Game Pass. They're putting all these games in there. They got their games in there. They won. They're doing all this kind of stuff. But I'm sorry, you have to come correct with the quality control as well. There's no sense in having all these games and then a lot of them are breaking or have these bugs in there that take you out of the game. Again, that's one of the 2%, right? And recently, as I've been playing the games a lot more, I've had some issues, not much, but the worst one I had was Coral Island, which I ended up buying that game anyway because it was going on Game Pass. And then it was still, I don't think it ever went on sale, which is fine. You get the Game Pass discount. It's that great of a game. I just hope eventually, as when I go play it, that they fix the bug because the bug's really bad, and I believe it's only on Xbox. Right? And what the bug is that as you play throughout the game, the game will kind of reset and you lose all the progress. And then one day I was playing, dude, I got like 3 rare fish in one game, which was unheard of. And the game reset itself, and I lost all the progress. And it's almost like the game was telling me, yeah, you shouldn't have got those 3 fish. Yeah, that's all in my head and stuff like that. I know, but that was kind of frustrating. Is my point, right? And you don't want to do that. So, but as far as that's concerned, man, look, dude, Microsoft next level gaming, taking gaming into the next level. which is very much needed. I'm looking forward to the new console when that announcements come out. We got a showcase coming out at the what is it? A couple months from now. It's not gonna be a live showcase. I saw people complaining about it. I'm like, look, dude, at least we're getting something at this point in time, right? And you can't knock what they're putting out there as far as games concerned, and their consoles and everything. Honestly, they're the most consumer friendly company out there, and they get the most hate, which is it's just unfair. But again, thank God Microsoft's a $1 trillion company. They'll be fine, right? And so, as far as I'm concerned, dude, I like everything that they're doing. Well, not everything, but I like the 90% of the stuff that they're doing right now. They're killing it. And then, yeah, dude, I can't. After I'm done with this, man, I'm probably gonna jump on. Maybe I'll go play Elder Scrolls. Go try and jump into that, dude. Probably the learning curve for me is gonna be a little bit high, so I haven't played the game in a long time. And then try and jump into. I might try to jump into Marvel Rivals as well. But definitely gonna try and finish Avowed. I should jump back into Starfield. Though. I haven't played Starfield in a long time. I need to get back to that again. First world problems, right, guys? Anyway, gonna wrap it up, guys. Been a good hour with you guys all in chat. Thanks to the chat for being here. T, good to see you, bro. I still play COD, man, but I've fallen off a little bit. I believe I think I prestige. Yeah, I did prestige 10. Pretty sure I did. I made that my one goal. And once I did that, then all this other stuff dropped. So I fell off on the wayside. But good to have you here, dude. Enjoy your gaming, man. Let me know what you think of Elden Ring. Keep on, my brother. Sorry you keep on missing each other. I'll do a podcast tomorrow, and I'll send you the invite. All right. Well, let me take that back. I might not do a podcast tomorrow, but I might do a podcast later on tonight, guys, because I do want to look at Towerborn. If you guys didn't know, Towerborn actually dropped a video. It's on Xbox's channel. I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I might stream it on here and watch it with you guys if you guys have time to jump in. But I just want to watch it. The Towerborn is the other game that I'm most excited about right now. And then, of course, the zombie game, State of Decay 3. Those are our three main games. I'm looking forward to every look. Don't get it twisted. I'm looking forward to a lot of different games, especially from Xbox Studios and stuff like that. That's a no-brainer. What I'm saying is that of all the games, Towerborn is right up there with me. Right? Because I like the developers of the game, and they're trying something new, man. Get a little bit of what's that old Sega game that we played back in the day, man? But they're going action RPG. I love the art style, right? Because they're the ones that did the Banner Saga. And I've always loved the Banner Saga, but again, Banner Saga is turn-based, right? So not everybody's a big fan of turn-based, but I'll play Banner Saga just because, even though I'm not good at turn-based games, dude, just the art alone and the story is worth it, right? And so I'm really looking forward to Towerborn because Towerborn is going to be action. It's an action type game, which is right up my alley. So hopefully they can pull it off. I think they will. I've seen some of the clips and stuff like that. It looks good, right? I mean, art-wise is number one. The gameplay looks solid, and the art looks amazing, right? So let's see if they can put it all together. Pretty confident they will, man. Microsoft's been killing it right now with their studios, dude. I don't care what anybody says. Don't listen to the media out there. Indiana Jones' disappointment. South of Midnight is a horrible game. It might not be your cup of tea, man. Maybe you don't like that type of story. Maybe you don't like the gameplay, right? But it's not a bad game. Dude. Again, you guys need to learn how to separate your opinions from actually critiquing something. Okay, like I tell you guys all the time, dude. I'm being honest, 100% about Avowed. Don't like the gay crap. Never will. Not on this channel. Nope. Ain't having it. I don't care how deep it is, dude. That's not my thing. So I didn't like that they put it in there. But I'm also an Xbox guy. I'm also a gamer, right? And I gotta be 100%. Was that the only thing that bothered me? Yes. Everything else, and the character designs, I thought were kind of corny. But not, and again, when I say that, dude, it's not that the character designs were bad. They didn't look ugly, right? To me, it just kind of looked weird, right? And you guys gotta understand, dude. I've been reading comic books my entire life. I've been in sci-fi fantasy my whole life, right? So there's certain things I expect when I look at certain things. Right? So that's on me, right? Some people might agree, some people might not agree, right? But I'm just being 100% with you guys, trying to keep it honest. But if you want to play a great game, it's a great game. If you can dial back the other stuff, right? But I'm not down with that stuff lifestyle. If you guys know my channel, you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, let me wrap it up, guys, because it's 6 o'clock. Been on for an hour. So Xbox All On channel, post Sega forever. We out.